So I just wanted to say hello. Hey, we meet again. Why is it that we always meet when I'm sitting in front of a microphone and a professional audio rig and also have a digital single reflex TSLR? Is that what that means? Camera just sitting on a tripod? I just happen to have those things there. We always are meeting again. But anyways, I wanted to tell you a quick story about my journey away from Windows. It was violent over to Mint Linux. And this video is for folks who are, on the fence about buying Windows 11 or just kind of tired of Windows in general, and especially folks who don't use Windows as heavily because, at least in my case, I record music and can do band videos and these stupid videos with my Mac, which is more of like a computer appliance than it is something you really have to mess with, right? Anyways, so I'm hopefully talking over this video here that's showing you my computer opening in Mint Linux, which was very easy to install. I installed it in a day. I'm giving the 6.7 thing because in the video you can't hear is that when you open games in Steam, you get this like Vulkan shaders updating thing, which you can skip. See, I'm pointing at that now there. Yeah, and I was saying, hey, these are sort of like the things you got to kind of weigh, like when you're moving away from Windows. So Windows, I updated Windows a few days ago. And in the middle of the restart, it all of a sudden said it couldn't read my boot sector and it was corrupted. I don't even know. I did not want to deal with it, right? Because it's just a matter of time before I had to move to Windows 11 and pay for all that stuff. And, Linux costs nothing, and you can purchase a build if you want to for, maintenance purposes, for updates and things like that. I chose Mint Linux because it's a gaming-friendly Linux setup, and as you can see, like, I just turn the computer on, Steam turns right on by itself, and I go into one of my favorite games that I always play is Fallout 4 here. I'm playing Fallout 4, right? But the thing is that it was not difficult. If you have a second computer, it makes it a lot easier because I was able to download and format the install files onto a USB card or a USB stick, and that's something you'd either want to do before you change your computer physically, like put in a new hard drive or whatever it is. But having that second computer also lets you, look things up that might go wrong. Things I've noticed, I've only had it for maybe 2 days, and I've only been using the computer for a few hours a day anyway. But again, it took like 2 seconds to load. Not 2 seconds, but I did it in like about an hour. It was not difficult. And that included taking the time, like opening my computer up, taking out the old boot NVMe drive and putting in a new, very expensive, because golly, everything costs too much these days, but a very expensive new NVMe drive, right? Anyways, you can do it. There are flavors of Linux that the reason it's taken me this long, and I've been a Windows user since Windows 3.1, since DOS. Bill Gates has had a hold on me since DOS. I'll put it that way. Did he have BASIC? Did he buy BASIC? I mean, if that's the case, I've been stuck in that ecosystem my entire life. But moving to a Mac made me realize that, like, hey, there are other things that get the job done just as well. And, Mac is arguably more expensive because you got to buy the computer, whatever. But if you view, like I do, a Mac as an appliance that just does things, I think that's where you're going to see, really good use out of that. I did like Windows until it became really lately, like, especially on work computers, it's just a pain in the butt, like it just doesn't work well. Linux, I got 32 gigs of RAM on this brand new kind of computer that I put together, just kind of updated some guts. And it was working fine on Windows again until it just broke out of nowhere. But other than the fact that, and again, I haven't really been troubleshooting anything because I haven't had time. I've just been testing things that work and trying things that work, right? Like RetroArch is what you're looking at here now. That works fine. My probably was holding it up. I wasn't even looking, but like my Bluetooth controller works just fine. Everything just kind of saw it. The only driver that I had to install was one that Mint saw itself, and it was the video card driver because I got an NVIDIA 3060. That said, I have two Wi-Fi cards in my computer, one in the motherboard and one that I had bought for my old motherboard and just decided to just keep using because it has a fancy antenna. I had to kind of tinker a little bit and turn off the internal Wi-Fi, Linux actually sees them both and will use them both, but you really only kind of need one, right? So you have to get into a mindset that you can do more, and you probably will need to be a little more hands-on, with the hardware and stuff like that. But it's not that difficult, honestly, especially if you choose the right build. Like, again, I don't. There are. This is like dipping your toes into Linux, okay? But I'll tell you what, like, all I need to do is surf the internet and check Reddit, which I already did in this video. I have Steam games, I have GOG games. The newer, like, post Windows XP games all load, and I'm working on the pre XP games. But, I'd say like 85, 90 something percent of my game library works right out of the box, so I have no problems. Wine is not just a drink, but it's also a program. It's like a layer that Linux uses to open Windows programs. And my GOG games that I bought on Windows, it sees the Windows drives and it opens them. So, if you guys don't have to do too much beyond, like, again, like surfing the net, playing some video games, if you don't feel like dealing with, Windows and all the jank, and it kind of was like ads. It's like they're like putting ads in there and stuff now, and I don't know, like it's becoming a lot. And especially because I have a Mac, which, probably now is my number one computer operating system choice. But I would just say, based on my experience with the Mac, you don't have to deal with all the Microsoft jank. You know what I mean? And everything is AI and bothering you about AI. Like, who gives a shit about AI right now? Like, AI has done nothing but make like stupid memes. Like, there's yet to be something useful that I've seen outside of stuff in like Logic. But whatever. My rant is done, and my video seems to be done. So I'm fading out here, and you can do it. You can move to Linux. It's not impossible. Tony out.